Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you've been watching my videos, thank you very much. Please subscribe, like, and comment beneath my videos. It would really go a long way. Also, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Olusayo-Prada. I'm a YouTuber from Lagos, Nigeria. On this channel, I'll be sharing about my journey from Nigeria to Canada. I'll be sharing about my journey going forward in Canada. I'll be sharing about lifestyle. I will be vlogging. So if you're interested in this kind of content, stick to my channel by subscribing and being active, like, comment. It would really go a long way. In my last video, I began sharing about my journey to Canada, the thought process that led to me deciding to come to Canada. And I would be continuing that story in this video. So let's dive right in. So before I continue talking about the steps I took to get to Canada as an international student, I think it's very important that I emphasize that all this wouldn't have been possible without the help of God. So at the beginning, like I said in my last video, when I did a quick research and I saw and I approached the agent and I saw the requirements to become an international student in Canada, I was overwhelmed and it seemed impossible. So it's very important that I emphasize that I prayed about it at that point. I prayed to God and I said to God, God, I want to do this. If this is your will for me, make this happen and make this seamless. So, above all, whatever you plan to do in life, including if you plan to relocate outside of Nigeria, just ensure that you put God first because it's the one that knows when it is your time and is the one that's going to make the process easy and seamless for you. Yeah. So, like I said in the last video, I decided to use Maple Education Canada as my agent for the admission and visa processing to Canada because I was a busy tax accountant in Nigeria and I had a really busy schedule. So I couldn't make out time out of my work schedule to do the process by myself. So um I outsourced the service, the process to an agent. One thing I didn't mention in my last video is that Maple was not the first agent that I actually went to. So that on that fateful day, I left my house. I was staying in Oniru, Victoria Island, so I knew that a lot of Canadian visa agents, admission and visa agents were in that area. So I first went to one, and when I got there and they took me through their process. The whole thing just seemed too good to be true to me, and they told me that the probability of me becoming an international student in Canada if I use their services, I think they said was about 95%, and that just seemed too good to be true to me. So I decided to look for another agent. And apart from that, the fee they quoted was just ridiculous. I think it was over 1 million naira, and they told me that I had to pay everything at once for the admission and for the visa. They said I had to pay everything at once. That seemed like scam to me, so I decided not to go with them. So I spoke to some people and they advised me to consider Maple. So that was when I went to the following day. I then went to Maple's office in Oniru and I spoke with them, and the person I spoke with actually told me that the probability of me achieving success on through this process was actually about 50 something percent. So as pessimistic as that seemed, I was actually comfortable with it because it seemed more realistic. And also their fee structure was such that you would first pay for the admission process, and then after they get you an admission, you would then pay for the visa processing. So that was why I felt comfortable with them and I decided to start the process with them. So the day I went to the Maple office, before leaving, they gave me a checklist of documents that I'll be needing for the admission into a university here in Canada, and the documents I'll be needing for the visa processing, and they also gave me their fee schedule. So I looked at their fees and I took this home with me and I went home. I ruminated over it. So, like I said, after considering everything, it seemed impossible, but I didn't let that deter me. I prayed about it and I said, God, if this is your will, then let this be done. Because I believe that in the first place, it was God that put the desire in my heart, the desire to come and study in Canada. So I just surrendered the process to Him and I started with the process. So the first thing I did was to gather my documents to get an admission at a university in Canada. So I the day I went for inquiries at Maple, part of my consultation initial consultation was actually I told them about the course I would like to study, and the agents there that attended to me actually took me through a couple of universities that they partner with here in Canada. And I looked through the list myself and I saw the course I wanted to do. And I chose a university. Actually, I applied to just one university here in Canada. I wouldn't advise that, but I I just decided to take the leap of faith, and considering the good result that I had for my BSc, so I was kind of confident that if I applied to just one university, the chances of me getting admission into that university was very high. So I applied to that university in my application was submitted in July 2021 and I got admission in September 2021. Yes. So I paid my application fees. In another video, I would be discussing the documents that I collated in detail for that admission. So I got my admission, and the next stage was to process my visa. And I got right into it. This particular process was overwhelming because you would have to gather a lot of documents to impress the immigration officer or Canada's visa officer that would be reviewing your application. So you have to present a very worthy application, an application that would convince the visa officer to actually approve your visa. So I had to collate a lot of documents. I would also do another video discussing the documents I collated in detail and how to go about it. Um, so between September and when I finally submitted my visa application was it was from September 2021 to November 30, 2021. That was when I submitted my application. So it took me about 2 months to actually gather my documents. And guys, that process was a lot. It was overwhelming. I bear in mind that I was working a 9 to 5 at the same time. So yeah, I was determined. I kept praying about it. At some point, I even broke down like, what if I do all of this and it doesn't work out? But because I believe in God, I just my optimism was just up there and I kept at it. So in November 30, 2021 was when my application was submitted. And after that, I did the fall like 2 days after I got my biometrics request. So IRCC told me to go for my biometrics. I did my biometrics at the Canadian visa office at Ikate in Lekki Phase 1. So after doing that, the wait began. The long wait began. So during this waiting period, my visa consultant advised me to do my medical tests towards my immigration to Canada. So you have to do part of the immigration process to Canada is that you have to do a comprehensive medical test to assure the person reviewing your the Canadian immigration officer reviewing your file that you are fit and able to come to Canada and you won't pose a problem to their health system basically. So there's something called upfront medical, which is sort of a way to hasten up your visa application process. So you're allowed to submit your medical tests alongside your visa application. However, I couldn't do my upfront medical because if you're aware of this immigration process, you would know that IRCC actually uses medical results from just specific hospitals selected by it, and I think there's just like one or two in Lagos. So you can imagine the number of people that book slots for medical tests. So in order to get a slot for your medical test, you actually have to book ahead of time. And I think around this period, November, December 2021, the medical tests were on hold. I'm not really sure. Yeah. So my visa consultant advised me to do my medical, although I had submitted my application. They advised me to do my medical before IRCC actually requests for it, such that by the time the request comes, I've already done my medical and it will just hasten up the process. So my consultant booked me for a medical, and the slot I got was in January 2022. This was booked in December, at the beginning of December 2021, and I didn't get a slot until like second week of January 2022. So you can imagine how many people I had to wait for before it got to my turn. So I kept waiting, praying, and um one thing I did was to not overthink this process. So I mean, I didn't make my life and my existence all about coming to Canada. So I had a job, I had other things happening for me, and I decided to focus on these other areas of my life such that my life wouldn't be suffering because I'm waiting to come to Canada. And I don't like anxiety. I don't like to subject myself to unnecessary anxiety. So I took my mind off it. I told God I would do what is within my power. When it's time for my medical, I will do it. But up until then, I'm just going to live my life. So December, I did my dirty December. I celebrated my December. And when January came, the day for my medical test came, I went for my medicals at the office Q Life Clinic in Victoria Island, Lagos. That was where I did my medical tests. And surprisingly, a day after I did my medical test, IRCC actually sent my request for medicals. Yes. So yeah, that was it. Actually, sorry. IRCC sent my request for medicals a day before my medical test. So I got my request and I was just like, okay, God is actually working things out for my good. All things are working for my good. Yeah, that's how I felt. So I got my request from IRCC to go for my medicals a day before, and the following day I went for it. And this visa application process, if you get if Canada requests that you do your medical test, that is a good sign. I tell you, that is a good sign that they've reviewed your documents and most likely they are going to give you your visa. So I was elated. I went for my test and the hospital sent my results to IRCC, and I continued to wait. Um, so the next thing that happened was in February, I got my passport request. So after I did my medical test, the remaining process was just really fast. But guys, guys, I had a huge challenge in my application, not in my application process, but I had a huge challenge which I would discuss as I proceed on in this story. So in February I got my passport request, and that was the point where I realized I had goofed. So in my passport request, I read a statement there from IRCC where they said that I wouldn't be given a visa that extends beyond the expiration date of my passport. And then I checked my passport and I realized that my passport was due to expire September 2022. And I'm like, I'm going to study in Canada. My program is 2 years and my passport is expiring the same year I should be going to Canada, which meant that I wouldn't be getting a visa beyond September 2022. And I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to feel, and time was counting. IRCC gave me a deadline to send my passport. So I thought I had two options, and one option was to quickly get a passport, and the second option was to send my old passport, the one expiring September 2022, and just get the limited visa. I wasn't sure how this was going to play out. Anyways, guys, I'm going to dedicate this whole passport issue, how I resolved it, and the ups and downs, and all of that. I'm going to dedicate a video to discussing that so that you don't make the same mistake that I made. But what I'm going to say in this video is that before you start your visa application to Canada, look at your passport, check the expiration date. If your passport will be expiring anytime soon or anytime within the period of your study in Canada, please renew your passport before you submit your application. Please do. You need to be proactive in this immigration to Canada process. Yes, guys. Long story short, I submitted the expiring passports. Yes, that's what I did. And the following week, I got my passport back with my limited visa that was going to expire in September 2022. So, like I said in the video, which I'll be dedicating to discussing this passport issue, I'll let you know in detail how I went about it and how I navigated that issue. I mean, here I am in Canada. Another thing that was a big issue was that Nigeria has a 6 month limit passport rule, such that if your passport has to be 6 months and above, if not, they won't let you travel out of Nigeria. So that was another challenge that just made this process sort of difficult for me, which I'll be discussing in that video. So I got my visa in March 2022 and I was set to come to Canada. I mean, what else am I waiting for? The only thing I had to grapple with at that point was my passport issue, and I'll be discussing this in the next video. Thank you for watching up to this point. I really appreciate it. Please like my video, drop your comments below, and please subscribe to my channel. And stay tuned for my updates on this process. I'll be sharing more useful information. If there's anything you would like me to discuss, or any questions you have from what I've discussed so far, please leave it in the comment below. I'll be sure to address your question either by another video or by responding to your question in the comments section below. Thank you. Yeah, once again, my name is Olusayo-Prada, and yeah, thanks for watching my video. Signing out, Olusayo Prada. See you next time.